I just put 100 down. Bet it on Maroon to go. Bet it on Maroon to go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Circle Up Show here on the Kaizen Sports Network. I'm your host, Nick Izzo. It's great to see you and finally be seen by you here on KSN. We got a lot of great stuff to get into regarding your Garden State Herd, so let's get right to it. Once again, we're going to be talking about the off-season. 2022 is in the rearview mirror, and we got to start looking ahead towards 2023. As we know, the players are working diligently on their off-season workouts under the supervision of their coaches. And while we're on the subject of the coaches, let's get into this coaching staff. We've detailed briefly the head coach, Wayne Dabney, and defensive coordinator, Juan DePena. You have other coaches there as well doing fantastic work. Offensive coordinator Daryl Linton is going to have to take a serious look at the playbook this year, see what we're going to do, how we're going to call things differently to maybe get this offense rolling a little bit more. On the defensive side, Coach Dominic Mayfield getting into it with his players as well, making sure that these workouts are going smoothly and that these guys come back just as fierce, if not more so, than the defense was last year. As I said, points on the board means the defense didn't do enough in their own minds, and they're going to be trying for shutouts every game next season, more than likely. A couple of great things to highlight as we go into the 2023 season that we saw in 22. You have some fantastic contributing players. On the offensive side, guys like Joey Colello, fantastic running back, wide receiver, slot threat. The guy is all over the field. He's very difficult to tackle, runs hard, and runs a lot bigger than he is. So he's very dangerous and a great weapon for the Herd offense in the coming season. A couple of injuries that we want to watch on that side as well. Ricky Jones recovering, of course, from that shoulder injury. It's going to be interesting to watch in the offseason as he develops and going into 23, how he's throwing, how the motions are going, and kind of how his recovery goes, making sure that shoulder heals properly and we're not worried about re-injury. Same goes for Tevin Peters, nursing that collarbone injury. Making sure that he comes back from the surgery, his recovery goes well, and we're not avoiding any contact or having any extra pain from something that would cause maybe a hit to go wrong or risk of re-injury. The good news injury-wise is that it really wasn't a big story for the Herd this year. Devastating to lose the players that they lost. However, not something that completely depleted the depth of the team, which really speaks to the quality of the training that we got. The trainer, Brianna, did a fantastic job making sure guys were taped up, making sure stretches got done, making sure that cramps and stingers didn't turn into sprains, strains, and fractures. So fantastic to have her, and hopefully she'll be back with us next season as well to improve the longevity of this team. On the defensive side, your highlights are guys like Darian Murphy, Daryl Kennedy Jr., fantastic grinding players. German Pimentel, for example, as well. Guys who worked hard, came into practice ready to work, came into games ready to work, and were able to go out and cause problems for offensive players. And we hope that that's a lot more firepower that we're going to be able to keep on the defense for the Herd this year. It's important to realize that improvements take time. This is, or like I said, a very important offseason. Coming off a first season in the league, an offseason after your first season is huge. You got to see what the team decides to do, what it assesses its strengths and weaknesses to be. I think that the coaches know what they need to do differently. These aren't new. Some may be new to coaching, but they aren't new to football, and they sure as hell aren't new to the league. And these are guys who understand where they need to improve and the feelings that they need to instill in their players to make sure that they're more successful in the coming years. Obviously, the biggest heel is going to be the offense. That's got to be fixed. Production needs to happen. If it's simplification of the playbook, then fine. Run 3 plays until they're perfect, and then add a 4th and run that until it's perfect. But one of these things is, once these things change, and they will, I believe that this coaching staff is strong enough to make the changes and to acquire the players in recruitment that they're going to need to change the identities of this team in the way that they want. This team's going for it all and will continue to until they win it and win it again. You're going to see the Herd a lot in the coming seasons and playoffs.
A couple more things to get to, and we will get right to them after this.
Small ongoing positive changes can reap major improvements. Join us for a 3-part series featuring the Garden State Herd football program.
We'll be with us at Ricky. Every play.
As they embark on their inaugural season, a journey, a brotherhood, a herd. Brought to you by the Kaizen Sports Network in collaboration with the Catch Card app.
I just put 100 down. Bet it on Maroon and go. Bet it on Maroon and go.
Circle Up, KSN. It's me. Here we go.
So we covered the coaching staff earlier, and speaking of, we have Herd head coach Wayne Dabney. Coach, thank you for joining us here on Circle Up.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. I want to get right into it. What brought on building this program?
I think it was pretty much you have to have a collective group of minds, and these guys have to go out there and necessarily execute things that you want them to execute. And I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about coaches. I'm talking about their ownership. I'm talking about our general manager all the way up to our player representative, to Brianna Jones, like you mentioned, our trainer. So you kind of want to get into a strong football aspect, and a lot of guys say that they want that football mentality, that football growth. And we pretty much had a group of coaches that really wanted to have guys who were extremely committed and they really wanted to be a part of what we're doing. So it was a no-brainer for us to be able to come out here and create something that was magical, which was the Herd. And when we got to that point, we made sure we dialed in, held ourselves accountable, held the players accountable. Ownership held themselves accountable, which then makes me hold myself accountable. And here we are today.
Awesome. So what was it like then to see those visions kind of put into practice and bought into by these players and coaches?
I'm telling you, like I can say this for every single coach who does this on the minor league football level. You know what I'm saying? You put it out there. You stand on your word. You do what you can, and as you do that, your first practice, you're just like 10 in the morning on a Sunday morning. Your coaches are the only ones there, and the whole time they're just looking around. They're twiddling their thumbs like, how's it going to be? And then when you start seeing cars coming to that parking lot the first day, and it's like almost like 40 cars. It's like we had almost 50 something our first practice at 10 in the morning. And that's when it becomes it's worth it. Everything's worth it. You put the work in, you worked your ass off, and you put what you had to put into it to be able to get something out of it. And that's the most important thing for us. And I think as my staff and myself trying to make sure to get these guys going forward, we definitely have to push ourselves forward for that. And that was a beautiful thing to see that come into fruition.
I bet. What do you think was your greatest challenge in this process? I
mean, finding a core. We are a first-year program. A lot of people don't necessarily believe that about us, but we are a first-year program. We have a very strong slew of coaches as far as guys who know what the hell's going on. They've been in the game for a long time, and putting those guys together and then trying to get younger. This is a grown man's game, but we wanted to try to get to the 19, 20, 21, 22, maybe the 25 mark. Reach those guys there, start approaching the colleges out here. Seeing who they had necessarily that wasn't going to take their steps to the next level and maybe needed to get to a point to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to be the mid part for that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, let's get to the season. So it's your first year, as you
yeah.
said.
Oh, yeah.
4-4. How did that hit? How did that feel?
Oh, man. That's like I've been doing this for 18 years now as a head coach, 14 years. I've only haven't made the playoffs or haven't even gone 500. Usually I'm way above 500. In about 10 years. I've been in the playoffs for 10 years. Last year, in the conference championship, losing 3-0. So to come out here to leave something like that, to come to this, and start this fresh and build it right. This is the first time I will say, one of the times of me doing this that I feel that we did everything we could do in regards to making sure our guys are prepared. We limited injuries. We were able to have these guys ready to go, able to actually put together strong practices. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to find that strong core to be able to build around that. When you're in your first year and things like that, you're going to have those bumps and bruises in the road because you're picking up players, dropping players. You're picking up players, dropping players because you don't know who's necessarily bought in yet. Right. So, now that we have those guys that bought in, usually when you find a core, it's like 15 or 16 guys. In our case, we have 30. So, that was a beautiful thing for us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Now, despite that record, did you see, as the coach, improvement in these players and at least in philosophy that moved on through the season that made you think, hey, listen, we're going to come back and we're going to be something special?
Definitely. I mean, a lot of these guys, minor league football sometimes comes on the precedent of you have to know how to win. sometimes. And these guys coming fresh out of high school, some of these guys coming fresh out of college. Some guys did 1 year of college and they decided to come to this minor league level, decided to give a hurt a chance and things like that. You have that opportunity, and sometimes, these dudes really they just have to learn how to win, how to play with each other, how to necessarily get together and format this team and actually go out there and execute and win ball games. So in the mix of that, you got guys that never played against adults before in their life. So they're going out there for the first time and they're trying to figure this stuff out. And I think that they really survived the challenge. And I think that they realize that the Kaizen mantra and the Kaizen way is extremely important, because those small ongoing changes really do reap major improvements. So little by little creates a house. You know what I'm saying? Every little piece has to get built for that thing to actually stand up, for you to be able to live in there. So that's our main point, is that we implement Kaizen, we mean Kaizen, and it has to be what it is.
Awesome. What would you say was your favorite aspect of this season?
The brotherhood. I love the fact that the guys just came together. One of our leaders, which is Justo, Keyshawn Hannibal Ray, he really embodied like being a leader for our guys. Like really the phone calls he would call about a guy. I'm going to help this guy. I'm going to drive from Pennsylvania to this part of Pennsylvania. Then I'm going to stop in Patterson. Then I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do all this stuff to make sure that these guys get there. I'm going to do whatever the hell it has to take to make sure these guys get there. And that's embodiment. That's being a captain, being a leader, things like that. Then you see these guys really start to come together and gel around week 2, week 3. They put in so much work since November, so you enjoy the fact that they have the brotherhood, because the football thing has been around forever. Everyone has a football team, But to have that brotherhood and have that togetherness, that's everything.
Awesome. One more before I let you go, because we got to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
The pencil. You were in every practice and damn near every game. You had the pencil sticking out the top. Does that give you Mystic Superfly coaching power, or what's the deal on that?
I tell you what, man, 4-4 it definitely does not. You know what I'm saying? 4-4 it definitely does not. But I like to jot things down. I'm always writing stuff down. A lot of our players, they don't even know I'm looking at them when I'm looking at them. I used to wear shades all the time. They thought because I want to be cool. It's really because I'm looking this way, but I'm really looking like this at you the whole time. The pencil necessarily is, like I said, is just a way for me to jot things down. I use the same pencil for the whole year, and now it's like this now, so I've been sharpening it and writing stuff down. So I have books and books and books, assessments on what guys have done, how to make guys better, how to improve, which is why we implemented the off-season workouts, all those things for the guys. Go in there, get your workout, come back bigger, faster, stronger. For our linemen, if you're over a certain amount of pounds, those guys know who it is. We're losing 10, we're losing 5, we're losing 20s. It's really about health and making sure that's our goal.
Outstanding.
Definitely.
Outstanding. The Garden State Herd are getting ready for their 2023 season. They're in off-season workouts now. They'll be recruiting very heavily, I would imagine. Coach Wayne, thanks so much for sitting down with us.
I appreciate it, man. Roll, Herd, roll. Kaizen, everybody.
This has been Circle Up. I have been Nick Izzo, and this is the Kaizen Sports Network, your source for sports, popular culture, everything Herd, and the home of the best mustache in broadcasting. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.